seen that there isn't a place for conservative women to gather online. So I wanted to create that space where we have real, honest conversations with people across the political spectrum.
Welcome back. That was longtime Trump ally and former administration official Katie Miller announcing the launch of her new podcast aimed primarily at conservative women. She held a variety of roles in both Trump administrations, most recently as an advisor to DOGE. She also worked for Elon Musk in the private sector, and Katie Miller joins us here now. Great to see you. Long before all that, you were a staffer on the Hill. I remember meeting you when you first worked for Senator McSally.
It was before that, Steve Daines.
Right, and then you went on to Homeland Security. So you've definitely held a series of positions, and now you're doing this. And I know you get asked this a lot since you've announced this, but there's you, there's women like Megyn Kelly doing this, Sage Steele, Lara Trump's now doing this for Fox. Conservative, accomplished women entering this space. What does the Katie Miller podcast do that the others aren't doing?
Lara Trump, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, they all do a lot of political discussions on their shows. They cover politics from the female perspective. What I'm hoping to do is bring some more of relatable life, that window into a life that you don't often get to see. Where do they go grocery shop? How do they raise their children? What is it like, with their spouse? Or why did they go through that divorce? And what did they learn on the other side of that? To me, that's something that's missing from the conservative space, that conversation you'd have with a girlfriend over drinks, or we're not really drinking anymore, so maybe hot tea with lemon at the end of the night. Yeah. But that's what's missing, right? Life from my perspective and my friend's perspective that I don't think there's a place for right now in the many podcasts that exist.
Thousands, right? And only a few dozen that really pop. So I can understand and appreciate the challenge before you. Now, you say you want to have real, honest conversations across the political spectrum.
Yeah.
You've talked to the vice president. You're talking to Alabama Senator Britt tonight. You have plans to talk to any liberals or Democrats?
Absolutely. And I haven't, to be clear, screened for political affiliation. When you start something new and you ask someone to take a chance on an untested product, you go to your friends first, right? Who are going to support you? And it's been very fascinating to see who have supported me. And there's a lot of friends who I'm very grateful for their support in this next endeavor. But coming up, there are a lot of amazing, accomplished women and men, whether that be from business, tech, scientists, you name it. There's a lot of people who have said, yeah, I'll take the chance with you and let's have these conversations, because I think for too long, there's only that 1 minute you see on TikTok and Instagram of a mom's life of how she parents, what does bath time look like, how does she, what education does she choose for her child? And I don't think what happens in the other 23 hours and 59 minutes of the day, they're not real, it's not honest. Some days it's awful. Some days the mom is crying at the end of the night. I know I am when my kids have just run me ragged and it's been a long day. And I want to show that part of my life because it's not always perfect.
Yeah. There are going to be people who see this and go, okay, she wants to talk about the life of people who are in the public sphere, about finding a way to balance life with family and work. But they're going to think to themselves, this was someone who was speaking out on behalf of DOGE, which, for good or for ill, it was a promise fulfilled by the president, no doubt, disrupted much of the federal government, and disrupted the lives of hundreds of thousands of federal employees, many of whom loved working where they were, either because they're subject matter experts on it, or they liked the flexibility, right? There was telework, or there was the option to work from home or to go in, and they don't necessarily have that anymore. If their balance has been disrupted because of what went on with DOGE, and you were part of it, what would you say to those people who would think, she wants to talk about that, but she's disrupted mine?
Sure. Less than 1% of the federal workforce was terminated as a result of the actions of President Trump or DOGE. The reality is the bluster and the public perception is not the reality. Because of people in the and I would say in the legacy media, that's just not the lived reality of many people in the federal workforce. What you've seen across the networks is the fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the workforce who have spoken out. What you often see is protesters who are not reflective and who are not in the federal workforce speaking out for the federal workforce. It's very similar to now what you see of the D.C. protests. It's out-of-state people flying in to protest what most of the D.C. public supports, which is safe streets, safe community, and a safe place to be able to take your kids to see our beautiful capital. That's missing. And for anyone who wants to tune into my podcast, what you'll see is this real conversation. Take on hard topics, ask tough questions. I'm all for it. Because honestly, what I experienced working for President Trump and Elon Musk as two great, incredible men who have a passion for supporting our country, for making our country a better place to live and work for my children and your children.
Terminated 1%. The voluntary buyouts was a larger percentage. And
Sure.
I spent some time with some of those people who were happy to take it, others who contemplated it. So I get that. Terminated versus voluntarily left.
Voluntary departures means you've selected to take
Right.
the most generous buyout of any probably private company you'll ever find, which was, I think, 8 months of paid leave to go on vacation if you want, to look for another job if you want, while you were still paid for by the federal government. I don't know any private place of employment that does that. Do you?
I do not. But then again, the federal government's a unique employer. You mentioned the president, Elon Musk. Do you know the last time they talked?
I don't. I actually haven't communicated with either of them about when they've last spoken with each other. I know they're both doing very well. President Trump, I see him often. I still speak with Elon often. We are still good friends.
How's he doing?
He's great. He's launching a rocket today.
Well, yes, he is. What's the biggest misperception about him, having been up close with him as much as you were?
I think he is very dedicated, and he is a very great employer who cares a lot about the lives of employees. If you go to Starbase, Texas, which is why it's on my brain, they're launching a rocket, hopefully tonight if the weather call is good. And you'll see that he's built an amazing place for his employees to be able to have a sole focus on just going to Mars. And I really would encourage you or any viewer out there to take a chance and go down there. It is beautiful. It is a one-of-a-kind place to make it a great place for employees.
All right. Katie Miller, thank you for being here. It's a Katie Miller podcast. Check it out.